Yes, lads, you're locked in with Lunch Talks. Lunch Talks, two topics today. We're going to be diving into Chaplow Ross and his position within the musical industry because he went kind of semi-viral over the week of reacting to a rapper from the UK, Young Tef, and saying that he doesn't actually know who Tef is, you know, and obviously with the whole subject of Kanye wireless. So first and foremost, we'll speak on the first topic, Chaplow Ross, and his position and what he actually does, because a lot of people probably misunderstood how his actual content is. He actually just makes documentaries based on rumors from Reddit and everything, and then correlates the story together. He does this majority for the Chicago scene, and there's a few with New York, Detroit, and he's got a couple with London as well, Sench, and he's got one on Heady One as well, you know. And what he does is break down story factors and speak about like street credibility, storylines that have happened between the artists and like their personal histories between each other and everything. Some men believe that he's a musical blogger who takes his time out to review their music, listen to their raps and everything, yeah. Know what mixtape and albums are on the way, but he doesn't actually do that though. And that's not his niche. I feel like obviously from the UK stance that there was a lot of backlash of him not knowing who Young Teflon is, and men were like, oh, he's being disrespectful, coming into the culture and da da. Nobody let him into the culture first and foremost, innit? Well, a portion of you guys did. This is why you always get disappointed when the responses and the views are not the same as yours, because this gatekeeping thing and just, you know, having these people have some sort of validation that you want to be validated by these men, you know, because at the end of the day, yeah, with Chaplow Russell breaking it down, he does documentaries. He doesn't do the musical thing where he's going to review your music and stuff. There's lots and lots of people within the UK that actually situate themselves to do that, you know, but because they don't have the popularity, the views and followers behind them and whatnot, they're overlooked, innit? And man want the engagement from people who have more eyes. And now because he's like kind of tapped in with the American scene, he done a sit down with 6ix9ine. He's been on Adam 22 and No Jumper with Vlad TV as well. You know, so obviously within that line of industry, that Chaplow Ross geezer is actually in that, you know, and that's his niche, that's his market. Those people are not actually music reviewers. So man need to stop begging, because that's what I'm seeing on the basis. Man begging him to know this person and know that person and whatnot, and that's not always the case. And to say, oh, he's like the voice of the UK scene and it's the way that it is because of him and stuff like that, just pure rap cap. You know, if I ask man about Beres, you're not gonna know, innit? Does that mean that you're not part of the culture and stuff? Because Beres is a big reason why the majority of us are alive, innit? You know, obviously with the blues and stuff, that's what a lot of our parents used to listen to, but not a lot of people within our generation actually know who Beres is, innit? I'll do their research, but that's not what you're gonna get from Chaplow Ross. You're going to get, oh, he's got this much bodies and he's done this and stuff like that. Like, that's goofy attention. Shouldn't even be trying to crave none of that, you know. And then we dive into another matter with Kanye wireless, controversial, him being banned because of his recent rant, which wasn't recent. It was last year when it went absolutely crazy on Twitter and was doing like all the stuff, calling out the Jewish community and like literally just going crazy. And for me, it just shows, because Kanye's the type of character, I understand him because we're the same star sign and we're Geminis, so I understand like his method to madness kind of thing, to reveal and expose the industry, like who really has the control and whatnot. For me, I don't really care about wireless and all that because obviously I don't do all these events and stuff like that. I'm not a groupie, so I wouldn't be in those matters or trying to gain tickets or whatnot, you know. But on an overall basis, it just goes to show that not everyone actually does have a freedom of speech, and even a man of Kanye status and stuff, like, because regardless of people's views, as long as they don't harm each other or they're not setting off like a Armageddon that he's told people to go and attack X, Y, and Z, because that's not what happened. But it just goes to show that he got banned for the line of his views and stuff and how heavy it was, and literally saying, okay, then those people that he was calling out run the industry, which is evident to see because it was taken up to Parliament and they made the decision to block him from getting a visa to enter the country. And overall, Wireless has just decided to just cancel the event altogether. So, you know, that's a nice summer day. 3 days on the weekend and stuff like that, that people have this culture now of Wireless because it's been running for a bit. You know, I remember working at Wireless in 2014, Alexander Parton, bro. You know, so it's been going on for a lengthy course of time for it to just be cancelled in the capital because of the artists that they were actually trying to recruit. And I don't know how they could have navigated that or generated a different system to reach out to other artists to actually try and perform at the Wireless Centre, because they would have just thought that they weren't chosen and it's because of the controversy and you know. So yeah, man, it's crazy because it just goes to show, like, obviously what he was ranting about kind of has some sort of truth to it, because he was talking about like who actually runs the industry, what he says and stuff like that. For me, I'm a person that I don't care about words like that. So at the end of the day, like, he said what he said, and evidently it's got him to be blocked from this UK. That's what it is, isn't it? Can't really do nothing about it. That's the outcome. Like I'm saying, obviously I know that there's some words that can actually be damaging. So I'm not just dismissing it about like I don't really care, because there is actually certain things that I'd take into consideration to be like, this was once upon a time said to me, this is how I'd react in a certain way. You get it? However, obviously this is bigger than me, bigger than the program and whatnot, but it just literally goes to show like the division, the control, the power, and just seeing like my community of the blacks discussing and saying, you see, like, we don't have no real life motion and stuff like that, because like if anything's said against us, which I agree and whatnot, it's not to the extent where someone's getting banned for offending the black community and whatnot. You know, it's like a free for all, but this is what it means to build our own community, our own banks, building our own source of currency. These are the things that I try to kind of, with my platforms and stuff like that, navigate and direct of. That's where I'd like to go in the direction for my people, is to have those sense of goals and stuff and get out of this urban community topics and stuff with, like, you know, the trending topics and looking for real, because yeah, our motion within the power scale is forever going to be situated at the bottom if we don't make these moves, you know. But yeah, man, it's just been one of those where the week has stemmed from this news to that news in urban community, in mainstream, and in mainstream with like the USA and Iran calls to having a ceasefire, so they're no longer at war at current, I believe. You know, so it's been a heavy week, man. It's been a heavy week. I've been trying to like navigate how I'm directing the channel, what I can do better, and obviously open up myself to do more challenges, discussions, and like tackling the trending topics, innit? So big up to all the people that have been actually locking in, supporting, been keeping up with a range of my videos and subscribing, innit? Love and manners.